So it's time to make a tier list about Kaiju number 8, and I'm going to start with 5-star characters. This is going to be the tier list specifically for them, because I believe this is going to be the most interesting part for majority of players. Afterwards, when I'm going to test all 4-star characters, I'm going to make a separate tier list for them as well. And about 5-star characters, there's going to be only 3 rows: S, A and B, because overall they are all playable, they're all useful, they have unique abilities, and I can't put anyone below tier B. That's why I believe this is going to be pretty much straightforward here and obvious, and I'm going to provide my thoughts. I was lucky to receive all of the characters, so I was able to play with all of them, and I have a certain opinion about them. Let's begin. Also, just a quick reminder about my Discord server. So I have the roles for people who are interested for Kaiju number 8 game. If you want to discuss something, share builds or experiences or whatever, feel free to join. The link is going to be in the pinned comment. Now to the main topic of this video. Okay, so what do we have here? First, we're going to start with Hoshina, and overall he is an attacker in a 5-star version, and he is a decent one attacker, not gonna lie. Overall, with his skill attack, he is able to deal damage to multiple enemies, and I mean, he is not limited with only 3 enemies. If there are more than that, like 4, I'm not sure if there are going to be any stages with 5 enemies, but he is able to attack all of them. It's a single hit attack. It deals kinda decent damage. The more enemies you have, overall it's pretty much understandable, the more damage he is going to deal in total, which is nice. He is a single target with his basic attack and with his ultimate, but from the ultimate the damage that you are able to receive sometimes is going to be really insane. It's like on a really high level overall. I can consider him being the best so far. In comparison, numbers are still going to be lower, but he is definitely a decent one unit to get for yourself and to use. That's why I believe it's going to be fair enough to put him in A tier. So yeah, the stages where you need to have a lot of AoE attacks, he's going to be just perfect. He's able to clear them, especially if you're higher in levels. Is going to be just a whole destruction. But overall, there are some units I believe that are stronger than him. That's why I consider him being A tier. I will try to be as much critical as possible about this tier list. That's why, don't get me wrong, he is a great unit, and actually on my account I have him the highest level so far for now. So yeah, I'm using him pretty much always. The next one unit, Rin Shinomiya. She is a minigun user. Well, that's pretty much insane, not gonna lie. Yeah, and she spams a lot. This is a pure AoE attacker, and she's doing great performance for her level, let's say. And I would say that because of her ability to spam a lot, and I mean she's able to do it with her skill, with her ultimate, with her follow-up attack. So majority of her skills are going to be just massive AoEs. The basic attack is a single target damage, yeah, but overall she is able to spam quite a lot, and especially if you're pairing her with some unit that's able to break kinda often, and doing it really fast, she's going to just hit everyone non-stop. She has such an ability to, you know, charge her ultimate pretty much fast, and I don't know, maybe it's because of some gear that I used or something like that, I'm not sure about it, or maybe it's from her kit, but she's charging her ultimates really often. More often than anyone else, and this helps to clear waves of mobs pretty much easy, I should say. But again, I can't really consider her an S tier. Her damage output is a little bit lower right now at level 60 in comparison to Hoshina. I believe if I'm going to bring her higher, these numbers are going to go up. But again, for example, for stages where we have single target units, bosses, something like that, she's not going to shine there like at all. So she's specifically created for her AoE attacks and for huge amount of mobs if you need to clear them faster, if you need to overall in total deal more damage, she's going to be great. But again, the numbers in terms of her damage, they are not like extremely high. They're good, but not that huge. So I would put her maybe even above Hoshina. It depends on levels and on stages where you're going to use. For most of the cases, let's say we have waves with multiple enemies, and she's going to do just a great job there. But again, I consider there are some of units that are going to be stronger than both of them. And right now we're going to Gen Narumi. Yep. And he is just a decent and insane unit. The whole thing that I can say about him is that he is the best breaker so far. When we're talking about breaking opponents, breaking kaijus, exposing their cores, yeah, he's doing this role the best than anyone else. And right now, especially at this stage of the game, probably on higher tiers of different trainings, there are going to be more specific units to use, but right now they're not that divided into different categories in terms of plates that they have, and in most cases they have just physical plates. And in our case, Gen Narumi, he has two types of physical attacks. He is a gun user and he has a slash damage. So whenever he's going to attack with his skill or the ultimate, he is going to remove two plates from opponents to physical plates. And this is a huge one deal. Moreover, he's dealing damage to 3 enemies, up to 3 enemies. And that's just massive. Yes, when we're talking about his basic attack, it's not a big deal. It's a single target damage and it's a slash damage, so there is nothing special about his basic attack. But overall, he is able to perform in a way to use a lot of his skill and use his ultimate. So whenever it's going to be the case, he is going to break just insanely, and I mean insanely good. Also, from a damage perspective, he's really decent, and you're able to build him in a certain way to increase his crit rate. So whenever he's going to crit multiple enemies, numbers are going to be higher, even higher than from Hoshina and from Shinomiya. So I was able to see numbers at least from his ultimate being at about 15k in total, and it's at level 60 with level 60 weapon. So I believe if we're going to go higher than this, if we're going to improve his gears as well, he's going to show even better numbers. From his skill attack, damage is kinda okay, but it's not too high. But the ultimate, it's something. Due to his breaking abilities, due to his spam mechanics and attacking multiple enemies with his skill attack and with his ultimate, there is no comparison to him. There are no units which are going to be on the same level as he, and he able also to deal a decent damage. That's why I consider him as an S tier, and I believe well deserved, because, well, I already explained pretty much everything. Breaking insane, damage from ultimate insane, and you wanna use him in pretty much every battle, because we have in every battle multiple enemies, and even if we're going to talk about boss battles with a single one target, he's going to break him faster, because again he is going to remove 2 plates from him. Yes, the damage output isn't going to be that huge, but breaking is going to be just insane. Now we're going to Kaiju number 8, and it's a 5-star version. Well, what can I say about this unit? He's just great. He is a great DPS unit, he deals kinda decent damage, and he's pretty much cost effective. This is quite an important aspect. He has also a lot of useful things about his kit, and the whole thing that you don't need to equip him with gears or weapons, you don't need to spend any resources to upgrade them or something like that. The only thing that you need to focus with him is to level him up and to upgrade his skills. That's the only thing that you actually need to do. Other important moments to mention here. So with his basic attack, he is able to taunt enemies, and whenever he is going to do it, this means that this opponent which he is going to hit, this opponent is going to attack our Kaiju number 8. He is not going to touch any other allies, and this is a useful one thing in many cases, especially if you have some kind of squishy teammates. You can use him at some point as a tank. Overall, in terms of stats, he is kind of balanced. He is rather tanky. From his kit, he is able to apply increased defense, so whenever he is going to receive attack, the amount of damage that he is going to receive is going to be reduced. The other important moment to mention here is that from his skill attack, whenever small kaijus are going to be at 50% of HP or below, he's just going to destroy them, no matter what. If you have him at level 1 and the opponent is at level 70, whenever this small kaiju is going to be at 50%, so with his skill he is going to destroy it, eliminate it completely. And that's the whole beauty about using him and building. You should manage it in a certain way to remove certain small enemies at first waves with his skill, and also he deals a blunt damage. At 5-star level there are not that many blunt attackers, so yeah, the only downfall of him, I would say that he, with all of his skills, dealing only single target damage, but well deserved. The damage that he is going to provide is just insane. First of all, taunting enemies is a huge deal, dealing huge damage and almost eliminating 50% of HP or below opponents. This is a huge deal, and with ultimate he also deals a decent damage. His cost effectiveness, this is kinda important, you may say quite a lot of resources, and also the fact is that from his kit he is going to apply certain stacks of damage multipliers and so on, because exactly he doesn't have gears or weapons. This is like a balanced thing, and the longer battle goes, the more damage he is going to deal, so he is going to benefit from it, and I'm considering him an S tier. From a damage perspective, he is going to be above Gen, and I believe this is a well-deserved position. Now we're going to talk about Isao Shinomiya, and he's, in our case, let's say a support unit. He's a defender, and this is considered as a support unit overall. Not the class, but the role that he is actually playing on the battlefield. From the 5-star characters, he's the only one supporter in such way. But overall we're going to talk about his usability and so on. So what he's doing, he applying certain amount of shields based off his defense. He's tanky, his survivability is just insane, you're not able to kill him like at all, and he is a blunt damage dealer. I mean, he deals blunt damage, he is not a real damage dealer. But there is an interesting trick about it. Overall, with his basic attack, he is dealing damage to a single opponent. And I mean, it's not like really a lot. Again, he is not a DPS, he is more a support unit. So yeah, I would say there are quite some stages where there are multiple enemies which have blunt plates and you want to remove them as fast as possible. With him, unfortunately, it's impossible. The interesting part about him is that he actually is able to deal damage with the ultimate. The only downside of it is that it's going to take quite a lot of time for him to charge this ultimate, so he's not spamming with it, not really, not at all. But yeah, the funny thing, when I saw him actually dealing like 4 or 5k damage to opponent from his ultimate, I was like, whoa, that's not bad for a support unit. But overall, that's it. For example, his usability is not that much, I should say. Whenever you have a difference of 5 levels, for example opponents 5 levels higher, then most likely you wanna use him, because battles are going to be longer, opponents are going to deal more damage, and he's going to help to survive longer, stay longer, and actually deal with such type of a battle. But when the difference is 10 levels, his shields are not going to play any role at all. Maybe in a late game this is going to change, and it really depends on the amount of defense that he has. Probably with higher numbers and bigger shields is going to be more beneficial, but right now at this stage of the game I didn't use him in that many of battles. Yeah, obviously you can pair him with, for example, Kaiju number 8 and help him to survive longer, especially with the fact that he is able to taunt. But that's pretty much it. For example, if he had an AoE basic attack at least to, you know, hit multiple enemies with blunt type of attack, that would have been great. Right now, at the current state of the game, I'm considering him being like between A and B tier, but again, I promise to be more critical, so I'm going to put him really in a B tier. I believe this is going to be fair, at least for now. Next one, Kikoru Shinomiya, and she is a DPS unit. She's just good. I mean, with the ultimate and with basic attack, she is targeting a single enemy. With her skill, she is able to deal damage up to 3 enemy. She deals slash damage. The numbers are overall not bad, they're not too great, they're not too bad, so she's just a good DPS unit, and she's kinda universal. You can use her everywhere, especially when you have stages with multiple enemies that have slash plates, so she's going to be definitely useful there, especially with the fact that with her skills she is able to deal an AoE damage. But the numbers, again, I expected a little bit more, and she's not showing the same numbers as Soshiro. I believe they're a little bit lower, so I would say she's definitely a strong unit, but not too great. That's why I'm going to put her on top of B tier. She's like somewhere in between of A and B, and probably later on she's going to be better, so I will be able to put her in A tier. But again, for example, Hoshina, he deals damage to 4 enemies, and if there are going to be stages with 5 enemies, I believe he's going to deal it to 5. She is only able to target 3 enemies. That's pretty much it about her. Now when we're going to talk about Mina Ashina, she's another attacker, and she's a gun user. and she attacks single target. So with her skill she kinda buffs herself in terms of damage output. With her passive she is able to charge her ultimates faster at a certain level. She's dealing kinda decent damage to a single target with her ultimate for sure. With her basic attack not that much. She is able to survive longer again due to her passives and her kit, but it's not like that big of a deal. I didn't see too huge numbers from her, and she's mostly targeting single targets, and she is all about herself, so I'm going to put her for now in a B tier. And the last one, Reno Ichikawa, the unit from the radar banner. What can I say? He's insane, straight up. He deals first of all physical damage, he's a gun user, and he deals elemental damage, the ice element. From the 5-star characters, he is the only unit for now being with element. So whenever opponent is going to be with elemental plate and with physical plate, he's going to remove 2 of them. Yes, he is a single target attacker, but the amount of benefits that you are able to receive from him is huge. First of all, he is able to freeze opponents, and this is going to just from the very beginning postpone their turn. This is pretty much a big deal, so whenever you have a single target who might deal a decent damage or something like that, you have a pretty high chances to freeze him and postpone his turn, his attack. So he is able to help kinda manage your battle more precise, and this helps in many cases. From his basic attack, it's not that much of a deal. He just hits a single target and that's pretty much it. The damage is not that high. From his skill attack, he is able to apply the freeze effect, and always when he deals damage is like attack and a follow-up attack, because he deals damage twice and the numbers are pretty huge, not gonna lie, especially if you're leveling him up, if you're focusing on upgrading him and so on. He's going to be a decent one. With the skill attack, again, he's able to increase his crit rate, so the moments when he's going to crit, there are going to be quite a lot of them. And again, when some opponent is in a frozen state and it lasts for quite some turns, when allies is going to attack this opponent, there's going to be also dealt an additional damage from his freeze effect, so this is a lot. With the ultimate, with the skill attack, the damage that he provides is just insane. Yeah, single target damage, but again, the numbers are huge. The benefits from him to being able to postpone opponents and so on, this is a pretty big deal. That's why I'm considering him an S tier, and he's somewhat on the same level with Kaiju number 8 in terms of damage perspective, I guess, but with the overall utility and usability of him, I will probably put him on top. Again, it really depends on the stages that you are going to play with him, but yeah, I believe that's it. So I mentioned all the benefits and negative aspects about each of the 5-star character, and here is the tier list of them. By my understanding, this is a fair one, but yeah. Well, hope this is going to be helpful for some of you and you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and see you guys in the next one. Take care.